Welcome to the Realtor Diaries podcast. Today's episode is Realtors and Pets. I'm Kim Jacoby with the Jacoby team at Century 21, and with me as always,
Elijah McGowan, also with the Jacoby team at Century 21. And you'll hear that we said not Realtors Pets, but Realtors and Pets. I mean, for me, I don't have any pets right now.
Ugh.
Despite how I grew up, I got no critters at home. Well, I mean, the occasional spider, but...
That is not a pet.
No, it's not.
What pets did you grow up with?
Oh my gosh. So, we moved to California with our dog, Josie, who we had just gotten as a puppy, like before then. She was a lab. She was like a white gold lab. She was super cute.
Yes.
And so we had Josie, and we moved to California, and we've lived in a few different houses in California, but we had fish for a while who had some unfortunate accidents. The fish were rough. I think they're called betas or something.
Oh, those kind, yeah.
And it's like, okay, if you have a male and a female, they'll kind of like just do their thing. If you have two females, it's like, okay, perfect. They won't bother each other ever. And if you have two males, they will kill each other.
Yes. Yeah.
And we got two males. We're like, oh, we'll just keep them in separate bowls. They tried to jump out of their bowls.
What?
Into each other's bowls. And they both just fell out of the tank because they missed. Like they tried to kill each other and they missed, and they both died. It was terrible. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that was the first negative pet experience. Josie, of course, always an angel. So that house, we only had fish and Josie, and then we moved to where, like I call our family home, where my mom still lives and stuff.
Okay.
When we moved there, our friend Tim dropped his dog off at one point for us to like dog sit, and I think he just never came and got his dog back. Maybe I shouldn't say that because it might not be the full story.
Right.
But I remember. I feel like I remember my dad on a phone call. I was like, "Why do you come to get your dog?" He's like, "I'm not coming to get it, man. I'm sorry." Wow. And so, yeah, Stella stayed with us till the end of her life. But she was, I don't know what type of dog she was. We'll just call her Mutt. But she was like a cute older dog, and she was like the grandma of the house forever. Oh. She was just an old lady dog. Yeah. And I mean, other than those, we've had rabbits and chickens, and we've had a lot of animals in the McGowan household.
Didn't you have a rabbit story?
I did.
I remember when we were talking about this podcast, you were telling me about your rabbits.
Okay. All right.
This is a good story.
McGowan household, we got some rabbits. Nice. We got a super cute rabbit hutch.
How many rabbits did you start with?
I think we started with 3.
3 rabbits, okay.
It's a little telling. She knows the story. And so we had 3 rabbits, and we figured they were all either the same sex. We figured they were all the same sex. Yeah. Because it's like, okay, they wouldn't sell us a male rabbit because everyone knows that if you have a male rabbit and female rabbits,
you're going to get more rabbits.
They go forth and populate the land. And what ended up happening is they either got themselves out, or one of us, like little kids, let them out to play with and just didn't put them back.
Oh my goodness.
And
out of their cage.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Out of their hutch. Like they had like a nice solid cage that they stayed in.
Yeah.
And at some point, through some twist of fate, they were allowed out of their enclosed area. And I think that was actually after they had the first litter of rabbits. Okay. And we successfully got rid of all the babies.
Oh my God.
We got rid of all of them. Like, people took them, yes. Sold them, like, whatever it was. I remember with, like, Josie had a litter of puppies, and we, like, took them, we had a wagon, and I sold chips at, like, school sports games.
Oh, nice.
And so we went and sold gave the puppies away for free.
Right.
Because it's like, we can't take care of all these dogs.
No.
And we did a similar thing with the rabbits. But eventually, by some twist of fate, they got out.
Then their rabbits got out.
And no one ever put them away. They were like hiding under our deck and digging burrows and doing their thing. And then they were gone for a very long time. And we didn't see them.
Oh, the rabbits died.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, okay. And then next spring, there's like baby rabbits hopping through our garden and yard and stuff. And we're like, oh, the rabbits did not pass away. They definitely are still around. And now there are many more rabbits. And of course, like, there's only so much for them to eat as, like, the circle of life goes around.
Right.
And so I haven't seen any in years, but I haven't lived at home for a while.
Right.
And so I'm sure when I go back, maybe I'll check their old, like, blackberry bush patch and under the deck. I'll take a look, and we'll have to see if there's any around. There's any
taken over, or go like walk around town, and if you see rabbits hopping around town,
there's any nth generation rabbits around.
Oh my.
Yeah, no, that's the rabbit story. They were troopers. they were great.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I grew up just around animals. It was a thing. And I guess that means it's a little surprising that I don't have any now.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have pets when I was a young adult, and I think it's because you feel like your roots aren't quite put down. You're not totally sure, and you don't want to drag a pet around if you're not sure where you're going to be, if you're going to be in this place for a long time, or
absolutely.
Yeah. So we have our roots down, and so we have I think we're at 5 chickens now, hens, they lay eggs.
Oh, I forgot you guys had hens.
Yeah,
That's
we
nice.
started with 12, and over the years they've gotten down to 5. And then we have our 2 kitties, Toby and Pepper.
Yeah.
And that is it. We used to have goldfish, because we have 4 kids, so we had 4 goldfish.
Nice.
And then, that one would die, and then we would go buy one and make it look the same and trick the
No way,
kids.
you did that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Especially because one of our kids in particular, his goldfish kept dying.
Just wouldn't live?
And then one of our other kids, her goldfish lived the whole time. The whole time we had goldfish.
I've heard that goldfish can live for a really long time, like years,
Yeah.
if you take care of them right.
Yeah. But who had to clean the tank all the time? I did. And,
that was Mama's job.
I hated that job. And so finally, when the kids got a little older, like our oldest were in junior high, and then the one kid whose fish died all the time died, then we're like, okay, we're not replacing it.
And it was like
and then another one died, and finally it was just
learning experience.
Yeah.
It turned from, like, you have pets and companions. Like, okay, now I need to learn from this.
We must have flushed like 10 fish down the toilet over the years.
God. You gotta do what you gotta do.
But yeah, besides our personal pets, I've got some great pet stories as far as real estate goes. I just wanted to share a couple here. So, my good friend, this was a few years back.
Yeah.
I helped her and her family buy a house, and that was awesome. It's really fun, getting to represent someone that you're really close with. And so this house, the people that lived there were kind of dirty, and they had dogs, and they never would pick up their dog poop from the backyard.
Oh.
And it was so bad that, like, when we were going to look at the house and we were in escrow and doing the home inspection and all that, like, you couldn't walk in the grass because there was so much dog poop. It was that
bad.
Yeah.
So that was my job as a kid, so.
You were the pooper scooper?
Yep.
Yeah. So.
They didn't have a pooper scooper.
Right. So then, it came time in the escrow for my friend, to ask for some repairs.
Yeah.
We call that a request for repair. And she asked me if I would put scooping dog poop on the request for repair as one of the items.
Totally valid.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I put it on there. And all the requests were agreed to by the seller.
Nice.
So then on the closing day, and in hindsight, I should have gone back and just peeked and made sure all that poop was picked up.
Yeah.
But on closing day, I went there a little early to get the keys out of the lockbox, because then I was going to meet my friend and give her the keys. None of the poop had been picked up. And so...
Wait, like...
None.
It was just as bad.
Yes.
Like, not even an attempt was made.
So luckily, I had some the plastic grocery bags in my trunk.
Reusable.
So I used one as like a glove. It took me an hour.
Oh my god.
To pick up all this dog poop for my friends.
Yeah, because, so they had... Were the people living there when you, like, showed it and, like, that thing? Or was it vacant?
Yeah. They were in the process of moving.
Okay. And so they moved all their stuff out.
Yep. But they did not get...
Yeah.
I mean, from one perspective, like, moving is hard work.
That's
so
true.
They probably ran out of time and were just like, we just can't do it. And I don't know, maybe they didn't have the means to hire somebody to do it or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
But so
still, that's,
oh my gosh,
it gets like it gets gross.
And I was not wearing like tennis shoes and work clothes. I was like yard work clothes. I was wearing like, I don't know, office clothes.
Yeah.
And
you were not.
Yeah.
I mean, but you did it.
Because my friend was adamant. She's like, you just make sure that dog poop. You make sure they cleaned up that dog poop. And I'm like, I got it, no problem.
And you're like, yep, it was cleaned up. Does she know that you did it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I told her. Yeah.
You're like, I made sure.
I didn't tell her that day.
Oh,
I told her a little later.
You kept the aloof.
Yeah, well, I wanted the key, that whole experience.
Yeah, you wanted them to have their new house.
Positive, of course. Right? Then I told her later.
You're like, by the way.
Yeah.
By the way, they did not clean up that I did.
Yeah. And then the other story I wanted to share has to do with dog pee. And later, when we go and talk about the news, our tips and things, I'm going to share some tips on how to get the dog pee smell out of your carpet.
Yes.
So I had this listing kind of up in the foothills, and wonderful older couple that lived there. And they'd lived there like 25 years. They were kind of hoarders. Like
you get it sometimes.
Major hoarders.
Yeah. Oh, like this was like particularly.
Yeah, they were hoarders.
Okay, not just they've lived there for a long time.
Yes, but very nice, normal people.
Yeah.
And they let their little dogs. They had 2 little dogs. They let them just pee wherever in the house.
Oh.
So you walk in the door and it's just like the smell just slams you. Like.
I know the type.
Yeah.
Like I was shadowing a realtor on an open house.
Oh.
That was similar. Like, it was weird. It was, like, in the vents or something. But not to leave your story. That's...
Yeah.
like a wave just of...
Oh, it was so bad.
Grossness.
So, our plan for them was, okay, first you guys gotta move. You gotta move out of this house.
If we're gonna sell it, you gotta leave.
Yeah. And then after you move, we did a big trash out. Many, many dumpsters. We pulled all the carpets, threw those away.
Yeah.
All the carpet pads. Some of the subfloor, had to be replaced because it was spongy.
Oh.
Yep.
God.
And then some of the subfloor that wasn't spongy but had stains on it from pee.
Yeah.
Got painted with Kills paint, which is a heavy duty like primer that covers up
like
odors and And then new pad, new carpet, all the baseboards. We had all the baseboards redone, and some of the drywall had to be repaired. It was
big
bad.
Job.
Oh, it was a huge project.
Yeah.
And of course, they paid for it all to be done, but they would not have been able to sell their house.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
no. When something's that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. The buyer mindset is you go through and you almost make deductions off the price.
Yeah.
Because
it would have been too much for someone who planned on moving in.
Yes.
It's not just like, oh, we'll just paint it and get new flooring.
No, you have to rip up the bottom of your house.
Yeah.
And then below the bottom of your house, you have to have someone go and help you do it.
Yep.
Wow.
So, but the good news with this story is that we ended up successfully selling the house, and they actually profited some money. So
okay, good.
They were able to, pay for all the repairs that they did to get it sold, pay for their move, pay for their replacement property that they were moving in.
And they had some left over.
And they had a little bit left over.
Gosh.
I know.
That's always like the golden situation.
Oh my gosh. It was a little sketch there, but we made it happen.
Through it.
Yeah. Well, I think our guest today has some amazing pet stories, and she has the most adorable pet, an English bulldog.
I'm excited to talk to her.
Yeah, me too.
We'll see you there.
Hey. I'd like to welcome our special guest today, Zan Davis from Century 21 Select Real Estate, specifically out of
Paradise.
The Paradise office. Yes. Zan has been in real estate for about 10 years total, having taken a break at some point in the middle
I took a break. I started in the 90s, then took a break to raise my son, then came back in 2015.
Yeah.
Oh, so 10 years.
So 10
current.
years current.
Concurrent.
Nice. Okay.
And then went back and be more like, I don't want to do the
Yeah.
With experience behind it.
Yes.
And then a fun fact that we have just found out about her is that her father was a ringmaster in a circus. Tell us
He was
about
a
that.
singing ringmaster with the Shriner circuses. So I kind of grew up at the circus,
Oh,
but
that's
we
fun.
didn't travel. We owned a clothing store in Verona, Mississippi, which is right outside of Tupelo, the birthplace of Elvis.
Okay.
And that store was my dad's clothing store. He named it after himself, Billy's Breeches.
Oh,
So
that's
you can
Oh,
imagine
that's-
the jokes.
Billy's Breeches. Yeah. I have family in Tennessee and Kentucky. They are California transplants. So
Okay.
I'm not Southern myself.
A
But.
lot of Southern roots in the room.
Yeah.
There are.
So, Elijah, you want to?
Yeah, today's topic is, of course, about realtors and their pets.
Yes.
Well, it's
My
realtors
pets.
and pets, not
Oh.
just about their pets.
That's true. I don't have
And
any pets
Things
currently.
that happen.
Yeah, we can talk about our own
Yeah,
pets,
yes.
but we can talk about experiences with other people's pets too.
And the
Yes.
reason I was inspired to suggest Zan is that your headshot photo on
It's
all your
with
business
Tutwiler.
cards, Tutwiler,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I heard that Tutwiler's no longer with us.
No, he passed away about a year ago.
I'm sorry
But it
to hear
took me a
that.
while to get over that. But I haven't changed my pictures. I haven't rebranded
Mhm.
because that's so difficult to do.
It is.
And then you're already out there.
Absolutely.
People know you as this. You change. So Tutwiler still lives on in
Yes.
my business cards.
Tutwiler's your mascot.
Marketing.
And what kind of dog is Tutwiler?
He was an English bulldog. We have another English bulldog. His name's Rocky, but our Tutwiler was actually named after a town in Mississippi, Tutwiler, Mississippi.
Yep.
My husband's a writer, and he's written a novel, and it's called Tutwiler.
Oh, cool.
So-
Oh my god.
Hoping to get it out.
We
And
all
he's
miss
got a-
Tutwiler already.
I know he was the
Oh.
sweetest dog. But
Hmm.
English bulldogs are, they have a lot of health problems.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Mhm.
And so I think we told a couple stories, but I have it stuck in my mind. Have you ever had a seller or even a buyer have an exotic pet?
I
Which
showed
I
a
could-
house.
Yeah.
It wasn't my seller, but I showed a listing, and the teenage son had snakes and spiders.
Oh my god.
It is
Both?
and yeah, he had like a python or whatever they're called, the really big
In
ones.
like those
And then-
atriums.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was a dark room,
Ugh.
and it was just. Needless to say, my buyers were turned off.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair. That's always a tough one. The reptiles are always difficult.
Yeah.
I think we talked about, we had a seller here in Chico who we didn't end up working with, but had a room that was one of the bedrooms, didn't do any work to convert it because I think it was still his son's bedroom,
Okay.
but there were probably 20 plus tanks for various lizards and amphibians.
yeah.
there.
Yeah. They have like a dehumidifier in there and air, what do you call them? Air purifier.
And one
And
of
they kept it dark and
Yes.
Yeah, that's how this room was dark, and
Yeah.
he had another separate air conditioning unit to keep it cool.
yes. Yes.
Ugh.
We were like, is there any way you could rehome these while we try to sell your property? It's
Oh,
like,
we're not moving them until they move.
you know, like that's way too much to ask.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. But there's a buyer out there for everything.
That's true. There's a lot of
Absolutely.
people that really love snakes and spiders and lizards, and I'm getting goosebumps just talking about them.
I know, me
Not
too.
one of them. None of us here are.
No.
I'm not a
Elijah.
creepy crawly kind
No.
of guy. A lot of experience, but I didn't want any of it.
Yeah. So do you ever
No.
take did you ever take Tutwiler or your current dog on showings or any
Never.
appointments?
I never took him to a showing. I had him with me when I had to show property one time.
Yeah.
And fortunately, the
Mhm.
buyers were fine with it. I offered to leave him in the car, but they said, no, bring him with us. And the seller didn't mind. So
Okay.
it can be fun, but it's also, he's so rambunctious. He's an English bulldog. He snorts all the time. And
We
they
tried
have
to get her to
gas.
bring him on
Yeah.
the podcast, but
he was a little too wound up today.
Yeah.
So we left Rockland at home.
that's probably for the best.
But yeah, that Rockland went with me, not Tut. I never took Tut on one.
You know how some people, they're always carrying around a little dog. Like,
I could not pick him up
They
and
try
carry
to shut
him.
the head.
I know. I always thought that would be kind of fun to be able to carry your little dog around, but I've always liked big dogs.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
And then the bulldogs are like beefy. They're
oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's like a bowling ball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
with
don't-
legs.
They don't have a neck. It's just
Yeah.
like,
The cutest little bowling ball.
yeah.
And they have gas.
Yeah.
They'll
Nice.
run you out of the room.
Oh,
That's another thing.
oh my gosh.
So, do you have any stories to share that involve other people's pets?
I do. I have a story, and I thought about it, when you were asking me. When I was a realtor in Virginia, I had a listing, and it was a family property. They'd grown up there. I think the house was, 80 years old or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And the parents passed away, and now the grown adult children were wanting to sell the home.
Yeah.
And so I listed it, and it was vacant. And we did some minimal staging. It was already a challenging listing because the neighborhood had changed, and they'd also widened the road that this house was on. At the intersection, it was like you could sit on your front porch and watch traffic jams.
Oh, wow.
So we had all of these challenges,
Yeah.
and about a week and a half, 2 weeks after I took the listing, the youngest brother, who was in his 50s, was going through a rough patch. His wife had kicked him out, and he had to have a place to go.
Oh, yeah.
So he moved in,
Oh.
which I didn't think would be bad because there's somebody living in the house, and there was
Yeah.
a lot of crime in that area. So
Someone
I felt
watch over
good
the
about it.
house.
But what I didn't know is the guy was so nice, and he was so smart. He worked, I think he was a nuclear scientist or
Oh,
something.
wow.
He was
So
Like
just
that
smart,
smart,
smart.
super
Okay.
smart,
Oh, yeah.
but not a lot of common sense,
Oh, like that kind of
And
stuff.
he literally was camping in one of the upstairs bedrooms. He had a camping cot, he had a sleeping bag, and everything he brought with him was in a suitcase. And
Yeah.
I had to start going over there ahead of time because he would leave his underwear on the floor.
Oh, no.
He would get up in the morning and go to his job that he'd gotten there, and it was just an hourly job, very much beneath what he used to do.
Yeah.
So, and he liked to drink, and so there would be beer cans and whatever around. So, if I knew there was a showing, I would go over there and pick everything up. Well, for some reason, he decided that he needed a dog.
Oh, like did he come in with a dog?
Nope.
He
No,
needed a
decided
dog.
to adopt a dog. So he adopted, it was a collie mix.
Oh, my
Beautiful
goodness.
dog.
Those
A
are very hyper energetic dogs,
Yeah.
too.
They,
I can only
she was
imagine.
about a year old, and his sister had a fit because she didn't want the dog in the house.
Yeah.
All of this, so he kept it in a crate in the kitchen,
Oh.
and he was gone all day.
Yeah.
So then I find
Yeah,
myself
yeah.
going in the afternoons and letting the dog out and picking up the underwear and all
Oh,
the stuff,
wow,
you know.
yeah.
That is
Our job
above
is
and
so
beyond.
glamorous.
Above and
Well, I
beyond.
did it with the broom handle.
Yeah.
I was just like I threw it on his bed
There
and
you
covered
go.
everything
Like
up.
he invested in a grabber.
Also, I happened to flush the toilet because he would never flush
Oh,
the
Oh.
gross. Yeah.
So
Whoa.
anyway, we had a showing in the afternoon, and so I was planning to go over and let the dog out. And what I would do is just walk it around the block or whatever.
Yeah.
while
Yeah,
the
get some
house was being
exercise,
shown.
his restroom. Yeah.
So I get there about an hour before the showing, and I open the door, and it is a wall of smell.
Oh,
Oh.
gosh.
I mean, it actually took my breath. The dog apparently had gotten sick in the crate.
Mhm.
And she was covered. It was diarrhea and I think some vomit.
Oh, like
She was
sick,
covered, and they're
sick.
really heavy. They're furry
Yeah.
No, so it's all over her.
and she had shaken,
Oh.
and it was on the walls. I'm not
Oh,
exaggerating.
my
I'm not
Did you
exaggerating.
have a hazmat suit?
I
Oh
wanted
my
to
gosh.
cry. I was so mad.
Yeah.
So of course I get the dog out. I tie her up on the front porch because I was afraid someone would steal her.
Right.
Yeah.
And I go back in the house and I'm trying to frantically clean at the
Oh,
walls,
oh
the
my
floor. I had to drag the big crate out.
Yeah.
Then I finally got it, and I opened all the doors and all the windows because the smell was just that. I didn't even go upstairs to check to see if
To
his
see
underwear
if-
was on the
You
floor.
didn't have the time.
Because I just had to focus on the
You
dog.
were busy.
Diarrhea.
No under
Oh, so they came and they didn't buy the house.
Yeah.
Oh,
It still
dang it. That would have been the
smelled. Oh, I'm
best.
sure.
There was just nothing to do with
No.
the smell. And I rinsed the dog off with the hose. I called the sister who lived about an hour away, and I said, he can't have a dog.
It's just not going to work.
So she eventually, I took the dog to my house, and then she came after work and picked the dog up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And he found a place after a couple of weeks, but
wow,
that was the worst.
That would be so tough. Here you are trying to do your job and sell this house.
Yep.
Which, you know, we want to shine it in its best light.
Always.
Yep.
And scent is so important. The way something smells.
Yes.
I always joke with customers who want to buy, clients who want to buy online. And they want me to do the preview. And I always joke and go, do you want me to go smell the house?
Yeah.
I'm going to use that one.
I'll try to bottle it and send it to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That would be. So, yeah, but that smell was just.
Yeah, I know. We always joke that that smell that you're describing, I would give it like a $50,000 deduction. But we always joke that if it stinks like dog in a house, just take off $10,000 right away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cats.
Deduction.
What is it? Cats and cigarettes and
yes.
curry or spices are the 3 C's.
Oh,
those are the ones that are
really?
so hard to get out.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah.
Oh, and I love curry.
Yeah,
I would like that smell, baby.
But you're right; it's hard to get it out.
It just permeates everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and now I add dog diarrhea to.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah. I don't think any of my dogs ever like gotten that sick growing up. But even just like having messes on the floor, like just regular.
Well, just imagine that embedded in the hair. I
can already tell that like it's in your brain. It's there.
It's in your
like
brain.
you know.
Yeah. And I thought about baking cookies, but I'm like, oh, well, then we would have dog diarrhea and
cookies.
And that might just.
I did not think about doing baking cookies. I was just wanting to get the mess cleaned up and get out of there. And so then the sister had a talk with her brother, and she adopted the dog or kept him at her place. But it was a beautiful dog.
Was he upset that you took her?
I don't really remember if he was upset.
You're like,
I really didn't care. I did not care.
Yeah.
You were busy.
I was like, dude, pick up your underwear, flush the toilet. You don't need a dog.
Yeah, he's not 15.
He's 50. So, but you know, he was really nice and he loved to talk. He was he a conversationalist or just he would dominate?
Yeah.
I started going over when he was at work because it would take forever to leave.
Yeah.
He would want to talk to me about just anything. Everything.
Yeah, my mom is married to a computer engineer.
Oh.
And they have where they just need to dump.
Yes.
She calls them dumps, where he just will talk for like an hour or 2 hours. And, she gladly does it because she feels that's one of her roles as his wife, to allow him to dump his brain onto her. And so she'll just sit there and listen and try to make, ask intelligent questions here and there. But yeah.
That's well, I don't know. He would talk about, mostly it was about his ex-wife. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
He needed a therapist.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't.
Did you sell the house though?
It did eventually sell.
There you go.
And I'm trying to remember. I don't think a family bought it. I think it was an investor because a lot of the properties in the area were becoming rentals.
Yeah.
So, someone bought it.
Well,
and I'm
so
sure they
good.
rented it and they never knew about the dog.
Yeah, there you go.
Hopefully. I didn't miss a spot.
Yeah.
It sounds like you were pretty thorough.
I think I was.
Well, thank you
Thinking
so
about
much for being willing to share that story.
You're welcome.
I know.
Thank you for asking me.
It can be difficult to bring those back
This
up.
has been fun.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. What a great idea.
All right. Check out the news next.
And now it's time for the news. Today's topic is, of course, realtors and their pets. And I think we'll go more into the pet side than the realtor side for tips and tricks. But I hear you got some things about bad smells.
Yes, because if you are trying to sell your house and you've had a naughty dog or a naughty kitty and they have peed over and over in the same spot for years, or even if they've just done a couple times, that smell is so pungent.
And it feels like it'll never come out.
Oh, I know. And so, like, if you catch your animal peeing, the best advice is to clean it up right then. But if, you know, they've gone and they've done this without you home or whatever, that smell can cost you $10,000.
Yeah.
Right off the sale price of your house.
And just to interrupt real quick,
Yeah.
I feel like it's usually the best option is, of course, going to be preventative.
Yeah.
It's like if you can stop them from making it smell bad or ruining any part of your house,
Yeah.
that is going to be the best option. But once it happens, it happens.
And there are all kinds of preventative tips online. I'm going to talk about, okay, it's happened. And so now what? Well, the thing about animal pee is it soaks through the carpet, through the pad, and into the subfloor, which is made out of wood.
Yes.
And a lot of times these animals want to do it in a corner somewhere, so it's also soaking into the baseboard and potentially even the sheetrock. So the only way to really, truly get rid of it, the smell, is to cut out the pee-infested wood and put new stuff in. New drywall, new baseboards.
Even like removing a portion of the subfloor?
The subfloor, well...
that's a tough one.
So, you know, in my story that I shared earlier, we talked about how we dealt with that. And so if the subfloor isn't completely crumbling, like if it's still, you know, if the structure is still sound, then you just paint it with that Kills paint.
Okay.
And then put new pad, new carpet there. But if you don't think it's that bad, then what I have found, and this is from Reddit, from a person named Simplify My Life, Please. So cat pee has a half-life of 6 years.
Okay. So it like degrades.
Yeah.
Okay.
So baking soda, peroxide, vinegar, those can help with the stain, but it's not going to get rid of the uric acid.
Which is the smell. I'm assuming it's the acidic.
And that's the smell that your cat will smell to entice them to re-pee in that same spot.
Really? Okay.
Same with dogs.
So they like to pick a location, and that's how they track it.
Yes. So the uric acid itself needs to be neutralized, and you have to use a commercial enzyme cleaner. Uric acid is not water soluble, so cleaning with DIY stuff is not going to help. This person lists some brand names of enzyme cleaners. I don't know if they're still good, if they're still in business.
How old is the post?
8 years.
Okay.
So
I mean, cats are still cats,
right?
Who knows if the products have changed or that kind of thing. Okay.
So knock out knock out urine off. I like the name of this one. Anti-icky poo.
Okay.
Nature's Miracle. So Resolve carpet cleaner is a cleaner, but it's not enzyme based. So that's not going to work.
Okay.
So if you take this enzyme cleaner, you don't just spray it. They're saying you got to like dump it on.
Oh, really?
And it has to soak through the carpet, through the pad, into the subfloor, and then you just let it dry. And you may have to do this multiple times.
But that seems like to be the best solution you can.
And it says it could work. Okay. And if it still doesn't work after doing that, then replacing the materials is the only thing that's going to do it.
Is it similar for dogs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same exact thing.
Okay.
Yep.
So they all have the same mechanism to going back to the same place over and over? Okay.
Yep. And it all has to do with that acid.
Gotcha. And I have my tips are more on like pet safety.
Oh, cool.
So when you're selling your house, that's one thing is to note is if you have pets and like you're living at the house and it's already a whole complicated situation, first step, you've probably heard this a lot, but tell your realtor that you have an issue. I talked about it earlier, but I've been to multiple houses where they handled it very well. They went on walks. They had a kennel.
Yep.
Not every pet is trained the same, but I'm sure we can always find a solution for your pet.
Yeah.
And of course, more exotic animals. You can like lizards.
Lizard snakes.
Yes. Lizards, snakes, even like goldfish or koi, like anything that needs either a special environment or special needs. You just want to make sure that everyone who's going into the space knows that A, the animal is there.
Yes.
And B, like since the animal is there, they should do this or they should not do this.
Right. Yeah.
And it's going to be different for everyone's situation. Like if you have any kind of bird, if you have lizards, anything that is not your traditional cat and dog, and even then will have specific requirements. And so you probably know them best. And so just treat it as the chance to teach someone about your pet and make sure you tell someone about it.
That's right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Realtor Diaries, Realtors and Pets. We will catch you next time.
See you next time.